All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kwadash, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, or two great kings, the gods the King James Bible speaks of, which again, the true name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, who the world in ignorance calls Christ, true name is Yahweh Shai. Second of all, I want to give double honors to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Elder Tahar and on down that rule and teach well. And third of all, I want to give a peace and safety to the hopeful elect out there, the brothers that push this truth, the truth of the King James Bible, and all truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the globe. All right, so I just want to do a short lesson over however long the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai allows it to go. And I want to name the video, The End of the Petrodollar is Near. All right. And Lord Woods brothers can see on the screen the inspiration for this lesson comes from this video that was put up here on BitChute by the Health Ranger or Mike Adams on his channel Natural News. All right. And I'm gonna start the video around the 12-minute and 33-second mark, but the point is around the 13 to 14-minute mark. All right, where he goes in, which we already know that Iran has said, that if any, of America's allies, America's and Israel's allies, if they want to get their shipment or get their vessel, they need to pay in Chinese yuan or some type of cryptocurrency like Mike Adams is going to mention, or gold. All right. And we know that the world reserve currency is still the greenback, the United States dollar or whatever. All right, but that's quickly coming to an end. And I'm pretty sure all the brothers out there are aware of this whole fake ceasefire. All right, which last night or whatever, right around an hour before Trump was expecting to give the thumbs up to go ahead and start bombing out of nowhere. We got a ceasefire, whatever. And now we come to find out that it was basically all a bunch of BS. All right. Now they're saying that, basically there was nothing really written in stone. All right. They put something in front of Trump and, which was Iran's original plan. And basically we know Trump, like, he's been, what he's been doing to, manipulate markets and things like that. 'Cause, like, everybody was saying if he would have went through with it, the markets was going to crash. Later this week, the markets was going to be out of here. Probably people were saying $150 to $170 a barrel oil. The markets would have been done. So, he pulled another stunt and said, we got a ceasefire or whatever. And now come to find out that it was all a bunch of BS because it was never really written in stone. All right. Because around the time they were saying it was a ceasefire, they were still bombing each other. All right, they were still bombing each other. And on top of that, so like Israel, all right, bombed Lebanon. But now, Trump is saying that was never a part of the deal. Israel and Lebanon, fighting was never a part of the deal or was never a part of the ceasefire. But Iran said, look, you have to stop firing Israel, and America and Israel, has to stop firing at everybody in the Middle East. Us, Lebanon, so on and so forth. All right. But they're saying it was never a part of the deal. All right. And then a bunch of other stuff. Now Trump is, came out and said that, they got to discontinue their nuclear ambitions and all that. And Iran said, no, we're not doing that. So the war is pretty much still on. All right. And on top of all that, Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz again. All right. And, it don't look like, the way things are looking, a deal isn't going to be reached. All right. So the strait is going to remain closed. And like Mike Adams is getting ready to say here, all right, you can pay in yuan, like Iran said, yuan, some type of cryptocurrency, or gold. Anything outside of the US dollar. All right. The petrodollar. All right. Which through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, I played that clip you know, numerous amount of times. The calculated plan to destroy the petrodollar. All right, which it comes in many ways, but this also could be, you know, the thing that kicks it off. And then a bunch of dollars come back into the country because no country wants them. All right, because the only thing that makes the dollar have any value is the fact that it's still the world reserve currency, even though it's on its last leg. But basically, a bunch of dollars come pouring back into Babylon. All right, then the dollar, so many dollars in circulation here. Then you got hyperinflation. All right, outrageous numbers in a grocery store, which that pretty much means your dollar is worthless. Once your dollar reaches hyperinflation, it's worthless. So once all the treasuries and all those things come back into Babylon, all the dollars come back into Babylon because nobody around the world wants to use them because they'll be worthless. All right, that's when you're going to see real chaos. And more than likely, again, there's going to be no deal struck to open back up the Strait of Hormuz. All right. And even if it is, for sure, it's not going to be because they have to pay. Now ships have to pay a toll. And like Mike Adams is going to say here, Iran don't fuck with dollars. They're not taking dollars. You either pay in yuan, gold, or some type of cryptocurrency. All right, $1 million a vessel, pretty much. All right, but I'm going to go ahead and play the video so I can for rambling there.
Trump surrendered everything to Iran. And after this 2-week period, let's say that a bunch of ships start sailing through the Strait of Hormuz. You can imagine that they can't wait to get out of the Persian Gulf, right? They've run out of food and water and toilet paper. I mean, they are in dire straits, and those crews need to get home to their wives and children, etc. And they're probably never going to sail back to the Persian Gulf again, a lot of those crew members, right? So those ships need to get out of the strait as quickly as possible, and Iran is just going to sit there right in the middle of the strait and say, ka-ching, $1 million, ka-ching, another $1 million, ka-ching, another $1 million. Oh, and you have to pay in Chinese yuan or crypto or, gold bars or something. You can't pay in dollars because we don't take dollars here. This is Persia. MFers, we don't take dollars. So you better come up with some Chinese currency or some rubles or something, because dollars aren't welcome here. So they're going to have to come up with all this non-dollar currency to pay the tolls. So there's zero demand for the petrodollar in the toll-paying system. And then those ships
that means the end of the petrodollar. All right? Because, again, a large amount of oil has to come through, or the global oil has to come through the Strait of Hormuz, which I'm pretty sure all the brothers out there are aware of. All right, and again, they have to pay a toll. So Iran's looking at like, look, you want your shit, you got to pay for it in dollars. You got to pay for it in yuan, or some type of cryptocurrency, or some other currency, not some other currency, cryptocurrency, some other type of cryptocurrency, the yuan, which is going to go digital, or gold. All right, no more dollars, like the health ranger said right here. No more dollars. All right. Then that's when things get really interesting. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and play that video one more time, Salakia. All right, Salakia brothers. I know I played this ad nauseum, man, but it's very important. It says, beware, Project Sandman coordinated attack on the U.S. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Yesterday. So Project Sandman, I'm just going to read this a little bit. I'm just going to read something here. Project Sandman is a coordinated attack planned by the BRICS countries on the United States. The kill shot is going to include a coordinated sell-off of
And Iran is a part of the BRICS too, by the way, too.
At least $2+ trillion in treasuries, which will collapse the United States debt market.
Right. So again, all these countries just holding dollars now, or whatever. They have to pay a toll, so, or whatever. Now, and on top of all that, America and Saudi Arabia ain't on the best terms right now either. Because they were paying for protection or whatever, and they pretty much abandoned them to help the small hats. All right, so the other UAE nations in Saudi Arabia, they ain't the best of friends with Babylon right now. All right, even though they still are somewhat in cahoots, but it ain't the relationship ain't as strong as it once was. Because again, they were promising if they helped them with the situation with Iran, they promised them protection. And today they bombed one of Saudi Arabia's oil pipelines today. Iran did. All right. So they switched focus to protect small hats and pretty much left them high and dry. All right. So yeah, this place is coming down, man. It's coming down quick. And all praises y'all Bashim y'all shy for that.
Followed by the stock market shortly thereafter. Wow. These events will freeze the U.S. economy and obliterate the value of all fiat U.S. dollar denominated assets. Most of the trigger...
And America looks like a bad guy, so they'll be like, well, look, most of our oil is got to come through the strait anyway. So why are we even paying with dollars? Just dump dollars all together and just deal with some other currency, or pay them in gold, or pay them in some type of cryptocurrency, which every country around the world right now, pretty much every country around the world right now is exploring, all right, or pretty much has started some type of cryptocurrency, which we know the system is going to be full force digital. The yuan is going to be digital, all right. But yeah, countries around the world, America ain't looking too hot right now, even their own allies. I like, man, F these people, F them in the small hats. All right. So we'll just dump the dollar and just pay, get yuan and just dump the dollar, like he's saying right here.
Conditions for Sandman trigger have already been met. One of them was the petrodollar assets. Most of the trigger conditions for Sandman and obliterate the value of all fiat U.S. dollar denominated assets, followed by the stock market shortly thereafter. Wow. These events will freeze the U.S. economy of at least $2+ trillion in treasuries, which will collapse the United States debt market, followed by the stock market shortly thereafter. Wow. These events will freeze an attack planned by the BRICS countries on the United States. The kill shot is going to include a coordinated sell-off of at least $2+ trillion in treasuries, which will collapse the United States debt market, followed by the stock market shortly.
China sold off a lot of treasuries, and certain other nations have already.
Thereafter. Wow. These events will freeze the U.S. economy and obliterate the value of all fiat U.S. dollar denominated assets. Most of the trigger conditions for Sandman trigger have already been met. One of them was the petrodollar abdication, basically Saudi Arabia no longer requiring the dollar for to buy oil. Another one is basically tensions.
Right, and again, Saudi Arabia and America ain't on the best terms right now. All right, they ain't on the best terms right now. Like, what was it, like couple of years ago, they allowed, I think it was India or some nation, to purchase oil for rupees. All right, so again, the petrodollar really goes through Saudi Arabia. Good, they ain't the best of buddies with them right now. All right.
Between the United States and Russia and China, with the outstanding requirement would be an operational BRICS reserve currency. Basically, once the BRICS reserve currency comes online, then all of these things get met, and all these treasuries come back in the United States. And and it happens like on a Sunday night, and then Monday morning, our way of life as we know it is over.
Right, because hyperinflation, all the dollars come pouring back into the U.S. Hyperinflation will come shortly after. All right, so yeah, interesting, very. So one precept. Very interesting times. Ezekiel chapter 7 verse 19. And they should cast the silver in the streets, and the gold should be removed. And the gold and silver that we use today is the greenback, the United States dollar, or the petrodollar, the greenback or whatever, the Federal Reserve note or whatever you want to call it. And the gold should be removed, and the silver and the gold should not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. And this does not satisfy their soul, neither fill their bowels, because it's a stumbling block for their iniquity. Right, so It's telling you soon your so-called gold and silver, all right, that paper monopoly money that people in Babylon hold so near and dear to their heart, soon is going to be worthless. Very soon, it's going to be worthless, completely and utterly worthless. All right. And again, this war in the Persian Gulf, a lot of financial experts have been saying this is going to cause them, pretty much a major blow to the petrodollar. All right, because again, America ain't looking so hot, you know, ain't in the ain't in ain't on the good side of most of these nations in the world right now, even their own allies. All right, and now Iran doing this, blocking off the Strait of Hormuz, which a large number of countries' oil have to pass through that what you call it, that the Gulf in order to get their vessel. All right, and now this again, the ceasefire or whatever, so-called ceasefire broken, and the strait is closed down again. And Iran has already made it clear if any country that's allied with America or Israel, you have to pay for it in something else. All right, and also again, America and Saudi Arabia ain't on the best terms right now, due to them pretty much abandoning them to help the small hats. All right, because they getting fucked up too. Dubai is getting fucked up too. Excuse my language. All right, so yeah, I just want to speak on that real quick. I was watching that video with Mike Adams, the health ranger, and Lord will, I'm gonna finish it, and if something else, come out of it, I'll do something else on it. But I just wanted to do a short lesson on that part because, again, we gotta wait and see what happens. But it don't look like there's gonna be a ceasefire. It looks like the strait is gonna remain closed. All right. And even if it opens back up again, Iran has already said if you're not paying for it in dollars no more, them days are over. You want your vessel, you want your ship, pay for it in something else. All right, like the health ranger said. All right, so with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give out because it's like before I close out. Why would they allow them to pay in dollars to help America? That doesn't make sense. We're at war with them, but yeah, pay us in dollars, which the dollar is worthless to them. All right. It's worthless to them. Anyway, so, it doesn't make sense. It only makes sense that, you want your oil, pay for it in yuan or gold or some type of cryptocurrency. We're not taking Federal Reserve notes. All right? Because, again, why would you do that when you're at war with that country? It doesn't make sense. All right? Why would you use their currency if you're at war with them? Or accept their currency if you're at war with them? It doesn't make any sense. But again, with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory again unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors again to my elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and safety to you brothers that push this truth and sincerity. And with that, I'm saying shalom.